have a code of conduct to drink properly out of your cup of coffee and to keep your cool. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 2039 of What You Up To Now, documenting the journey originally inside transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business and back and forth again. I like to keep my feet in both worlds and all of me in both worlds. And our topic today, I create 2 pieces of content every day, and I use this segment to document my journey. What am I doing? What's working? What's not working? And today we're talking about in this year's annual challenge, the Get Your Goals annual challenge, where we're doing one thing every day to get what we want, focusing on communication this month. So I'm challenging everyone, including myself, to create our own communication code of conduct. And I've done this before, but I will admit I'm not necessarily consistent about writing it down. So I'm going to review past code of conducts and create a new one today of how do I want to communicate, because I can only create a code of conduct really and hold myself accountable to it for myself when it comes to my communication. I can only control how I communicate. Now in my businesses, in my family, in my life, I can influence how other people communicate or not. I can set a good example, but I really can't control anyone but myself. It's why personal responsibility is so important. We decide how we're going to behave moving forward. What are our boundaries? What knowledge are we going to acquire? How are we going to get it? How are we going to show up? How are we going to communicate? And I just brainstormed a couple of things today, like seeking to understand, asking questions, being clear, concise, and direct in as much of my communication as is humanly possible. Make sure I'm really trying to figure out what somebody's trying to communicate with me, not just jump to conclusions or interrupt or make assumptions, etc. So we talked about that, and I will be doing that today for myself. And then our idiom for today for Supersize Your Business was to keep your cool. Thus, the frozen little things I snuck out of the freezer. This one's for owies, because I hang out with my granddaughters a lot. And these are for teething, because my youngest granddaughter is, of course, teething right now. So, she does have one little tooth on the bottom. It's pretty darn cute. It's just poking out. So today, we're talking about that, keeping your cool. And I shared different ways and a couple of stories that are a little embarrassing about myself. The pop the cork stories. And how I go about keeping my cool. Different ways I've learned over the years to keep my cool, because I have found it's a lot easier to take a minute, respond in a way that you want to respond, or give yourself a timeout to think about the situation and decide how you want to respond, than to immediately respond in an emotional way that may not be the best response that I could put forth and that we could put forth. We want to keep our cool. I like that idiom. I like that expression, not only because we've been having super hot weather here, but because it reminds me to think before I speak, to give myself a break, and know that I don't have to respond immediately. Just because somebody asks you a question doesn't mean you need to answer it immediately. If you don't know the answer, one of the things that pet peeves me and bothers me the most is if you ask someone a question and they really don't know the answer, but they make something up and act like they know the answer, instead of saying, hey, I don't have the best response for you right now. Let me look into that and I will get back to you by such and such a time. I have a lot more respect for that person than if they try to blow smoke at me and pretend that they know what they're talking about when I can tell that they actually don't. And we all have spidey senses. We all have intuition and can tell if somebody's full of it or not. So that's it for today. It looks like it's going to rain today. I'm kind of grateful for that, because it has been unbelievably hot. You step out of the front door and it's like you're stepping into the bathroom right after somebody took a hot shower and it's all steamy, or a steam room or a sauna. It literally feels like a sauna outside because it's hot and humid, right? All right, or a steam room because it's hot and humid, not so much like a dry sauna. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, go out and make it an awesome day. I'm going to do the same, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye.